kind of. At least they played for a little while in the first half and then got run out of the stadium against the Washington Commanders. And so when we don't have anything to talk about Vikings-wise off of a Sunday bye, the next best thing is to laugh hilariously at the Packers' misfortune. This is Packer Vent Line on Mackey and Judd.
Go, Pack, go! Am I too far out there in that I don't perceive this team getting to the Super Bowl because I haven't seen them play at a high enough level to this point that they could draw upon if they got into the playoffs. And therefore, I want them to play well going forward, but to lose games so we can get a high draft pick.
I think Jim might have been hitting the brewskis there during the second half of that game.
I'm going minimum 10 Busch Lights.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
I think that's at least a 10.
He probably started about 2 hours before the game.
And he was losing track. Like he was trying to think of what he wanted to say. He knew what he wanted to say, but then he couldn't.
I want the draft picks.
Yeah. I'm going 10.
He's starting to wander into the world of tanking, which the Packers have not really been.
Right.
You know, that's not been a thing in Packers land for a long time. So he doesn't fully understand tanking. I want them to play well, but I want them to lose games so that they can get a draft pick. It's like, well, that's not really how that works, Jim.
It's potential that this morning Jim does not remember that phone call.
No,
there is potential for that.
It's likely.
Jim, you called TMJ. I did.
Go, Pack, go!
This is a badly coached team that, is essentially staring in the face of a really bad season, the kind that we haven't had here since the last year of Mike McCarthy. And, and the quarterback doesn't, as I said, I've been saying to you guys all year long, he's not going to want to stay here. He can't trade him. Doesn't have any trade value right now. So he's done.
I love how they're turning on him, man. And I get it.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious.
It is so easy right now. Like, I have trouble criticizing Packer fans for being tired of this guy's act. I mean, Favre's act got old, but it came from a place of sort of self-doubt at times, right? And I don't know if I can play. And I mean, he was full of crap, but I sort of got that act. Yeah. This guy's becoming darn near, if not at despicable.
Well, he's not likable.
No.
He's like, even when Favre was wishy-washy and whatnot,
right?
It was still all about like the boys and the locker room and the team. And not that Rodgers doesn't have like connections on that team, but it just feels like he has become such a different person the last few years.
He has. There's no question about it.
Devontae Adams made a conscious decision when he was being wishy-washy to say, listen, guys, sorry, Aaron, but I got to look out for the next 5 years. And if you're going to be wishy-washy and you're going to leave, I don't want to be here for the next quarterback. I need to know who my quarterback's going to be in 2 or 3 years. Not that that's going particularly great in Las Vegas for him, but it's weird. And he's won. This is the other thing. The Packer fans always love to throw in Vikings fans' faces like, well, guess how many rings we have compared to you, right? Well, a couple of those rings were literally 60 years ago. So I don't know how long. Okay, you want to go down that route? The Gopher football team has like 8 national championships. How long do we get to celebrate things that happened, for our great-great-grandparents to celebrate? Yeah. So the last 30 years, Packers quarterbacks have won 6 MVP awards.
Yes.
And countless division titles. 30 years, 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, 6 MVP awards, records all over the place. 2 Super Bowls?
I know. That's the incredible thing.
It's got to sting a little, right? I know the Vikings have none. It's Eminem at the end of 8 Mile. I know everything you have to say about me.
Right.
Put that aside. Let's talk about you for a second.
Right.
2 Super Bowls in 30 years with these guys as your quarterback? They're due for like a 10-year stretch of whiffing on first-round quarterbacks, which they already whiffed on one.
Yeah.
Jordan Love.
Yeah. I mean, I saw them absolutely suck for 20 years, which was,
that's weird.
Fun to watch.
Declan and I don't know what that's
the
a
70s
for us.
So when Lombardi left, they went downhill and they stayed there till basically 89 or so. So, and then I think they started to pop back up around then a little bit. Got Mikowski, who wasn't bad. Then transitioned to Favre, and the guy who deserves the real credit there, Ron Wolf. I mean, he's the guy that basically signed White. He traded for Brett Favre. But yeah, they are due for a Bears-like spiral. I think that's fair because they ain't going to be
hilarious.
Because they ain't going to be Detroit, right? Like, I mean, it's hard to be that bad for that long and just be rudderless. But I could see a Bears-like spiral where they pop up occasionally, but it's not essentially 30 years of, oh my God, you still have that quarterback.
They've had, by my calculation, 4 losing seasons since 1991.
Yep.
So basically, since Brett Favre took over, they've had 4 losing seasons.
05 was really bad.
08, so the 05 they were 4-12. 08 that was Rodgers' first season. They were 6-10, and then they won the Super Bowl 2 years later.
Yeah.
And then they had a couple of years where Rodgers got hurt, and they were firing McCarthy, where they went 7-9 and 6-9-1.
That's right.
Otherwise, it's a sea of 11, 13, and 15 win seasons for 30 years.
Going to be a shame to see
2
it
Super
end.
Bowls.
Going to be a real shame, won't it?
What the actual... Like, what are you doing? Why are you this bad? Watching this team is infuriating. But, like, watching people go, oh, it's because no Devontae Adams. Oh, it's because of Rodgers. Oh, it's because of the O-line. Oh, it's because of running backs. One thing. No, it's all bad. Matt LaFleur, bad. Rodgers, bad. O-line, bad. Play calling, bad. It's all bad.
Tom Grozzy, YouTube. Oh, my God. I'm going to spin this into a statement here on this Statements Monday. The Packers are screwed. This is not the relaxed season.
Right.
Look at first of all, look at the product. The relaxed season, I think, was that 2019, I believe? They went 13-3 after a bad start. They went to the NFC Championship game. Rodgers was trying to tell people, hey, it's all good. First year, new coach, we'll get this thing right. So they can't move the ball. Rodgers is 3 years older, back end of his 30s, than he was during the relaxed season. Mm-hmm. They've lost games to both New York teams at home. So back-to-back home losses to, actually the Giants, London. I'm sorry, that was a London game. And then a Jets loss at home. And then Commanders on the road. And now they play at Buffalo. Later on, they play home against the Cowboys, home against the Titans. These are not gimme games. At the Philadelphia Eagles. They still have to play the Rams, at Miami, and the Vikings on their schedule. So I'm kind of like giving them Bears and Lions games. Go ahead, just win those games. What is their path to 10 wins? I mean, they're literally going to have to beat some of the best teams in the NFL right now, anyways, record-wise, to get to 10 wins.
I don't see it happening. I just don't. Like, it's so dysfunctional now, and they, offensively, I don't think that they have the players. They've got a good back in Jones. If Rodgers, let's say he heats up, and let's say he starts to play well, okay, can he get that receiver core to be good? I don't know. I could see them being a 7 seed in the playoff pool because there are 7 seeds now. But I think you're right. I think for the most part, this feels like a miserable experience for them.
I mean, you can put 2 L's, probably guaranteed L's, at Buffalo, at Philadelphia for them. Like those teams are superiorly better than the Packers. Could they win every other game? I don't think so. They have to go to Miami. They have to play the Rams. They have to play the Vikings. They have to play the Cowboys. Yeah, that's too much pressure to just assume they're going to win 8 of the remaining games. I just don't see that happening.
They could 9-8 is reasonable. Could they go 6-4? But even 6-4 would get them to 9-8. So let's count the losses. Can Buffalo's probably a loss. Eagles is a loss. Can you get through the rest of your schedule with only 2 losses? Cowboys, Titans, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings.
No, probably not.
I mean, it's really dark for them right now. Yeah, I don't see a relaxed turnaround.
God, it just rips our heart out on the show.
It really does.
Not going well for the Packers. That is so. Oh my goodness.
Anyhow, okay, Judd.
The Denver Broncos need to make a coaching change.
Yeah.
This team, and I don't care if Russell Wilson is hurt or not. He didn't play. Rippon started yesterday. But Nathaniel Hackett and this coaching staff, this is one of the biggest whiffs, and I'm serious about this. This is not hyperbole. This is one of the biggest whiffs I've ever seen. You are
It's really bad.
not even 10 games into his first year. And I mean, we come out on this show and say this every week. He can't coach games. Like, he might be a fine OC, he might be a great quarterbacks coach, but as far as running a team, this is one of the luckiest breaks or smart moves, however it transpired, for the Vikings, to have interviewed this guy and dismissed him. He is the definition of a coaching train wreck. I think he needs to be let go as soon as possible. This team thought it was going to be doing what the Vikings are.
Yeah.
We got Russell Wilson.
Yep.
We are going to hit the ground running. There's no rebuild here. We are going to be one of the better teams. We are going to challenge, because we all said, oh my God, the AFC West, it's going to be just a gauntlet of great teams. It has been a disaster. I don't see it changing. Nathaniel Hackett needs to be fired. I will call for this on a weekly basis.
And it's not somehow, I don't know if his agent just isn't as good as Matt Rule's agent, but Matt Rule coming from college, maybe that was his leverage. Like, I could just stay in college. Okay, what is it going to take? And he got like a $50 million guaranteed contract, like a 5 or a 6, some ridiculous contract. And so they're paying him $40 million to go away. Reportedly, Nathaniel Hackett's contract is one of the lower contracts in the league. It's only like $3 or $4 million a year on like a 4-year deal. So paying him to just go away and admitting your mistake wouldn't like bankrupt the franchise by any means. But who do you fire him to try and salvage this season? Because they're 2-5 now. Like, they're pretty much sunk at this point. Sean Payton has to be the next guy they bring in.
Right, and I don't.
But I don't know you're bringing him in mid-season.
No,
yeah, he's not gonna.
I don't. No. But I fire him because of this. I fire him because sticking with him, to me, is telling your fan base and your players, we're just gonna punt, like in the worst way possible. This guy is a disaster on game day. I mean, it's the damnedest thing. I also think that George Payton, who was Spielman's assistant GM here for a long time, I think he's in big trouble too, because they were just bought by a new group. If you come in and sort of like kick the tires, hey, let's see what we got with this car we just bought, real expensive car, right? And you go around and look at this and you see a guy who hired Nathaniel Hackett. What's your confidence that you're going to allow him to hire the next guy?
Yeah,
so
it's
I
bad
think
for everyone.
I think this thing is off the tracks bad for a team that, again, didn't think, oh, we might be good. You give up a first-round pick for Russell Wilson.
I think my biggest question here is, like, it's one thing for us to have opinions, because when Nathaniel Hackett came up as a candidate, you're looking and saying, oh, look at all the good things that Aaron Rodgers said about him. And we're going off of 3% of the information.
Right.
Oh, here's an offensive-minded guy that helped get the most out of Blake Bortles. That's hard to do. Oh, Aaron Rodgers loves him. Oh, he's a high-energy guy that seems to connect well with players. Okay, that's interesting. It's one thing to form your opinion off of that and be wrong, which I was. It's another thing to spend like 2 full days face-to-face with a guy going through this meticulous interview process, and at the end of it come out with no idea that he can't scheme, game plan, or make on-the-fly decisions in a football game, right? Like, I'm so baffled by how many times supposedly smart franchises whiff on quarterbacks, whiff on basically personalities, right? You're whiffing on how fast can someone process information, how
or
much
draft
can
picks too, right?
Yeah, like there's going to be mistakes, but this is a Titanic-sized mistake for this franchise.
Yes,
amazing. You know what wouldn't be a mistake? Underdog for your fantasy needs and wants. That's very rarely a mistake.
It is so nice seeing all these slips. I always ask, show me your slips, as I like to do with all of our Score North listeners. And there are some big paydays again, and big winners, I should say, too, with Underdog Fantasy. The best and easiest way to play fantasy sports. You can join Underdog Fantasy with promo code SCORE, SKOR. They'll even match your first deposit. They even added some kicker props in their pick'em options. You can even make a extra 1.5 extra points made. Yes. You got field goals made. There's plenty of options at Underdog Fantasy now. Join with promo code SCORE, SKOR, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Underdog Fantasy, the best and easiest way to play fantasy sports.
No victory candle this week for the Vikings. Maybe it's a self-scouting candle from Spiral Light.
Oh,
Judd's
you know what it is?
Self-scouting candle?
It's a yes. It's Judd's Purple Positivity candle from my friends at Spiral Light, and it is fantastic. And what it is this bye week was your opportunity to go to spirallightcandles.com and buy a Purple Positivity candle so that it's here for Sunday's game, because the positivity, you can smell the aroma of victory. It's the aroma of a win. And you know what? If things aren't going well, it's going to calm you down. Spiral Light is a great gift as well. A variety of outstanding candles that can serve as a gift for birthdays, anniversaries. You know what? Why not Thanksgiving? Why not Thanksgiving? A little chilly outside. You got Spiral Light making the house smell great. SpiralLightCandles.com. SpiralLightCandles.com. Check them out.
All right, we're back to Dex here.
All right, my Vikings and NFL-related statement here is go make a trade. Go make a trade if you're Kwesi Adofo-Mensah here, okay? There is actually plenty of options the Vikings could use, even with being a 5-1 team and in the driver's seat right now in the NFC North. You could use an extra defensive lineman. You could use a linebacker. You could use a cornerback. If Oli Udoh is indeed going to be potentially off this roster, you could use a backup swing guard, for God's sakes, right? There's actually plenty of options without having to break the bank. You're not going to go get a McCaffrey, right? You're not going to go sell out the farm to get someone to push you over the top because you need a little extra more spark. But you could actually still make a trade that could help make an impact on the offense or the defensive side of the ball. I'm curious what Kwesi Adofo-Mensah does. You know, the NFL trade deadline is the most boring of. It's the only thing the NFL doesn't get right. And it's the only thing that really doesn't get that much excitement. But this last week, we've seen a couple trades. I think Kwesi Adofo-Mensah should also just jump on this. Go get an extra defensive lineman. Go get an extra cornerback. Get someone to help out this defense or the offensive side of the ball. Go make a trade, Kwesi. Go do something.
Yes, and stop getting arrested.
That's also true.
Stop getting arrested and go make a trade.
Oli, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you could trade Oli before some of the dumb teams find out.
How tough is this one? Don't follow a person into the bathroom.
Yeah, just in most walks of life.
No,
unless
right,
it's
exactly.
like your kid at a gas station.
That's
you know?
fine.
There's a few specialized instances where it makes sense to them.
The sign says women, I believe, on the door, okay, Oli? Like, this is not that difficult. I know you're drunk, probably. Okay, I get that. But, like, I don't know. It's just, it's so stupid.
The following the people in the bathroom thing reminded me of a traumatic story when I was a kid.
Uh-oh.
So we were on some road trip. It was me, my mom, I think stepdad, and then my aunt and my cousin. It was like 5 of us on some road trip or something. And we stopped at a McDonald's to get some breakfast. And then I had to go to the bathroom as well. Had to go number 2. Okay. I'm probably 10 years old, 11 years old. And so I go to the bathroom. And it's not like a one-person bathroom. It's a multi-stall urinal bathroom. And so I go in there, and I'm in there for a little while. Not super long, but like I'm taking my time because I had digestion problems as well as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And somebody else walked in the bathroom, some other like stranger, and then I hear the door open again, and it's my aunt, and she goes, Philip, are you in here? Now, mind you, there's another person in here too, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, this is the most embarrassing thing. I could either just like not say anything so that I'm saved from the embarrassment.
Right.
But then if I don't say something, they're going to think I'm missing.
They're going to call 911, yeah.
Yeah. So I said, Philip, are you in here? Yes, I'm in here. Are you okay? Do you need help?
Oh, no. At 10?
10, dude.
What
Yeah.
was...
I don't know. I think she was
What
just
did your
like...
family think of you?
I don't know. Maybe they thought that whoever walked in was shady. I don't know who walked in, but someone else walked in. Or maybe they just thought that because I had been in there for like 15 minutes or something that I wasn't
You're
okay.
reading the sports page?
It's definitely the most embarrassed I had ever felt as a kid at that point.
So I thought you were going to say that, like, you accidentally walked into the women's room.
That
Like, 'cause your
has
aunt-
happened as a kid before, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. But like you can still get away with that, but still that's next level embarrassing bad. I don't
Philip,
like that
are
at
you
all.
okay? Are you in there? Yeah. Yes. Please don't
That's
ever do that
awful.
again.
Yeah, that's come on. Like, oh my God! Okay, go ahead.
Anyhow,
I'm not even going to address this. I've been very, very disappointed in your family right now.
me too. All right. Any final NFL or Viking statements to get off your chest here, Judd?
I have one, and it's a general one born from a play I saw yesterday in like from the 3-yard line, and I see this continual and I don't get it. And I tweeted, can somebody send me the reason? And I did not get a sufficient tweet back. My statement is this: quit lining up in shotgun from the 3-yard line. I don't understand it. It doesn't provide it to me. It limits your potential options because first of all, you're going backwards at a place where I wouldn't want to, and second of all, I think that you could create more confusion in tight. Not so. This is not at the at like the 35 or something. You create more confusion in tight by having the quarterback close to the goal line under center, which also provides the ability to possibly sneak. I don't understand.
I mean, haven't the Vikings scored 2 touchdowns in shotgun from close range?
The Rager one though, I loved the play because
Justin Jefferson scored one too.
If you use deception, that's great. But I'm talking about not. I'm talking about shotgun snap, and now I am trying to find a receiver. So yes, if you use deception, I totally get that. So
my guess is they do shotgun to give the quarterback just like an extra clear look at what's happening. I'm more offended from the 1-yard line than the 3-yard line.
Okay.
The 1-yard line, it's like I need the threat of a quarterback sneak. The 3-yard line, I can see like space and everything.
But yes, if you do use a creative play call, I'd change it. In this case, it wasn't. It was just a traditional play call, and shockingly, it didn't work.
Yeah. I guess I have one more off the Nathaniel Hackett thing real quick. The NFL is indeed a crazy league, as Sid Hartman and then Kevin Seifert would say. And that right now, the Seattle Seahawks have one of the best records in the National Football Conference. Not that that's a high bar to clear. But the Miami Dolphins the Seattle Seahawks are 4-3, leading that division in a year in which they were supposed to be tanking, quite frankly.
Yep.
How they're just going to run like Geno Smith or Drew Lock out there and go win 5 games and pick 3rd overall. And I would say at this point, with all these other teams struggling, like, I don't know if they're favorites to win the division, but they're definitely favorites to be a wild card team. So how does that feel if you just traded a boatload for Russell Wilson, paid him $250 million, and your team is sitting 2-5 and contemplating firing a coach, and old Pete Carroll's over here probably texting with all of his buddies every time, the Broncos fail. We knew it all along.
So what happens when Geno Smith, off of what's been a marvelous year, wants to be paid?
What's his status? Is he a free agent? I'm guessing he probably has a short-term deal, right? He's a
I
backup.
think just a backup contract, right?
It's actually, you know what? Because he's playing at a ridiculous level. I don't know how sustainable it is, but his history is 10 years of being an underachiever and a backup. So he's not going to get like a $40 million a year deal. It might actually be a great scenario, and that you could probably sign him for 3 years and maybe, I don't know, $25 million a year or something, and have a potentially rock solid quarterback on a low cap hit while you build out the rest of your team.
He is playing this year on a 1-year, $1.3 million base salary.
Yeah. But he's not going to get, even if he finishes just like this all year, he's not going to get like he's not going to get a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes. He's 32 years old too. Mm-hmm. So you're never going to give him an 8-year contract or something. But you could do much worse than this version of Geno Smith for like 20 or 25 mil, while a bunch of other dudes run around making 30, 35, 40, $50 million to the salary cap.
Yeah,
so
it's probably true.
I might kind of buy in the Geno Smith hype. He might be a testament to you cut bait on these quarterbacks after a year and a half, and it's like, well, he's actually talented. He just needed 3 years to get used to being a starter in the league, but they don't get that kind of time.
I think it feels like Case. I think it feels like a magical pop-up year. I wouldn't trust it.
Could be.
But that doesn't mean that
he's more accurate than Case, though.
Yeah, but I mean, and they are going to, I think now, make the playoffs, the tournament, And I don't think that they're going to make a run, but they could certainly win a game. They're going to make a tournament. It's got 7 teams now. You got to work to miss the tournament these days.
The tournament is that's where it's at for sure.
Love the tournament.
I was going to tell you what the Vikings record projection is via 538.com, but I think that's a tomorrow Purple Daily thing. I mean, people can go look it up too, but there's an interesting discussion to be had here.
Don't look it up.
If you want to be surprised, don't look it up. But I will tell you that they have an 89% chance to win the division now, according to 538. 89% chance to win the division.
Well, what? They're technically, because of the tiebreaker on the Packers, 3.5 games up.
Yeah. The Packers' new projected record is 8-9 with a 9% chance to win the division. Bears projected 6-11. Lions projected 5-12. So yeah, this division is something.
It's a gong show.
Something fierce. All right, there's your statements edition here of Mackey and Judd on this Monday. It sounds like we're going to get a Randy and Cottage Grove Packers dud stable tomorrow, according to his Twitter account. So if you're looking for another day of clowning the Packers, then I'm sure he will bring that to everyone tomorrow. And Purple Daily, you can find a deep dive into the Vikings self-scouting process as we would like it to go this week on today's episode. Please click subscribe on the Score North and Purple Daily YouTube channels. We are almost 50,000 combined subscribers. Thanks to all of you guys. And Flagrant Howls and Judd's Hockey Show also feeding your Wild and Timberwolves needs on the Mackey and Judd podcast feed. That's right. Feed me more hockey takes. See you guys tomorrow.